Morning, Botai. Erev Shabbat Shalom. There's an interesting Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit Daf Zayin Amud Bet. The Gemara brings down a list of a few different averot that cause a drought when it doesn't rain. And we know that, unfortunately, many times Eretz Yisrael suffers from droughts. In New York, we recently had a drought. And even though nowadays we feel it less because there are reservoirs and things like that, but drought and different climates and weather changes, it's still very detrimental to the overall economy, and it's a tremendous punishment. Anytime the Torah wants to speak about a punishment for Am Yisrael, it speaks about a drought. So the Gemara brings down a list of things that cause the rain to cease from the sky. And one of the things the Gemara says is, Amar bi'ameh, ena gishamim ne'itzarim, ela ba'avon gazel. As a result of gezel, as a result of theft, that's what causes a drought. So that's one thing, which is interesting. The Gemara says, "Mai takanate." How do you fix that? What can the gazlan, the thief, do? Yirbeh betfilah. The Gemara says he can pray extra, increase his prayer. The Mefarshim are a little bit confused what that means. What does that help the gezel? So the Sefer Gvurot Ari on this Gemara says, obviously it means after he has returned the stolen object, then it's a good idea for him to pray. He brings a raya from the Yerushalmi. The Gemara says there's a pasuk in Echa Nisa levavenu el kapayim el bashamayim. First thing a person has to do is look at his palms to see if there's any gezin, probe his actions to see if he's stealing. Only then pray, because not only does theft stop rain, it also stops a person's prayer from being mitkabel. The Sfat Emet has a different way to understand this Gemara. He says the prayer that the Gemara is talking about is not even talking about the Ganav. The Ganav's prayer is not going to help at all. It's talking about the Gedolei Ador. It's talking about the Tzaddikim. The Tzaddikim have to pray hard to offset the prosecution that's created through the sin of Gezin. So we see from all of this, it's a tremendous, besides for the intrinsic avon of Gezel, it also causes all sorts of different punishments. It causes drought. It causes a person's tefillah. Sometimes a person doesn't realize he's praying, prays with the minyan 3 times a day in Bechavana, and he's not getting answered. And a person has to stop and think 1 second. The Gemara says that when a person steals, his tefillot aren't answered. So maybe a person took something that doesn't belong to him. And unfortunately, as the Gemara says in Baba Batra, the Kuf Samech Amud Aleph, the Gemara says, Rubam begazel, which means most people, unfortunately, have some sort of, smattering of thievery in their hands. So a person has to make sure to fix that before a person prays, because otherwise it's not going to be accepted. So it's a very big musara scale. Have a wonderful day in Shabbat Shalom. This evening, Be'ezat Hashem, Mincha Kabbalat Shabbat in Arvit is at 4:05. Shabbat Shalom.